Good. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, how are you doing, Lisa?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, well, I'm barely.
Yeah.
That's right. I had to run and get my husband, who's in the middle of something, to help me get online. But I'm here, and now I got to run down and make my lunch. So I'm going to disappear for a few minutes.
All righty, dear.
All right. I think
Hello, Tish.
Hi. Everything's looking good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Great.
I can't use my video because I don't have enough bandwidth.
Oh, you can see that?
So,
Can you see me though? Will you be
oh
able
yeah,
to see the
you look
presentation?
really good. Everybody looks really good, except when I turn mine on, I look like a crumpled up wrapping paper.
You have your sparkling photo on though, Brenda.
Good. I'm glad everything's working so far. That's great. And you start at noon, pretty much on top of noon?
Yes,
Great. Okay. Well, good. I just wanted to check everything was working, and I'll be right back a little before noon. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Debbie, I mean, that was a great photo you took of the moon and the river.
Thank you. I love this, being on the river. It's amazing the changing view out off the deck, and then those full moons are just, it's like they light everything up. And I don't know, there's something with the new phones and the cameras. They do awfully good pictures.
Yeah,
But yeah, I had lots of good stuff copy to work with. The snow moon graced me. So I was, you guys, I think you guys were at Woolridge a couple of weeks ago on the weekend. And we picked up wine and we walked around and got in the car and we're driving off. And I said, I can't believe, I don't think I recognized a single person there. And I was looking across the lawn and there you were. And we were already leaving. So dang it, I missed Lutz. Anyway, next time. It sure is a pretty place to have a picnic, isn't it?
it is. Our dog loves it too.
Oh, see, that's the other thing. They're canine friendly. That's always nice.
Yeah.
So how are you doing? You doing fun stuff lately?
Pretty much the same stuff that I've been doing for 2 years now, I guess. Which is fun.
Yeah, that's good. You're still teaching, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was thinking about you. I was doing that exercise that Wynn's recommended to us in terms of just wellness and well-being and hope. And one of the exercises is thinking about what are you going to be doing 15 years from now? That's a real interesting question now to ask yourself at this age. It's like, And I was thinking about, teaching, and it's like you move into that part of your life. You're no longer the doer, you're the coach and the mentor. And that's a good thing. I think that's a really, really awesome thing to do.
Well, it's still a lot of fun in the classroom. So as long as it stays that way, keep teaching.
Exactly. Hi, Brenda.
Hi.
I
Well,
was
I
thinking
haven't-
about,
Yes.
sorry, I
Go
was
on.
thinking about you this week, and I read an article about children and the importance of daydreaming and being outside and building forts. And that's really what they're doing online with Fortnite and some of these games, is they're trying to do the things that they used to do outside. And I thought, oh my goodness, we need to get more kids out to Brenda's property.
They all need to be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think Tish might have disappeared. I was going to introduce my friend Tish Mcfadden, who is going to be our program today. And she's the lady that created this amazing, hi Tish. I know, there she is.
Thanks, Brenda.
I'm not showing my face because I have really bad connection, and my heart is beating so fast because I've been having such a heck of a time getting on. But I ran down and got my husband. He was in the middle of something. I said, you got to come. This Tish is on today. I've got to be there.
Hey,
So,
Kathy.
everybody, this is Tish, and you're going to love her. And
Thank you.
and I'm going to breathe deeply.
And Kathy Meckling. Hi, Kathy Meckling. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
God, I feel like
Brenda.
forever.
Yay.
Yay.
What a lovely group. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to meet you and see you.
Tish's dad was a Rotarian, so she has a love for Rotary in her heart, for that and other reasons.
Yeah, for many years in Ann Arbor, Michigan. My dad was in Rotary. Loved it.
Another Michigander. Are you a Michigander, Tish?
Yes. Born and raised in southeastern Michigan, outside Detroit, Ann Arbor area.
All right.
How about you?
I was born and raised in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, not far from Marquette.
Oh my gosh, I love the
Yes.
so much.
Yes. And Steve Rowe, our president, is a
Yes.
Michigander. Yes. So we're in good company.
Hi, Steve. I'm Tish.
Hello there.
Pleasure to meet you.
Well,
Yeah.
likewise to you. Thanks for
Everybody
joining us.
from Michigan, we grow up doing this. We say,
Yeah, well,
I'm from
I
here.
was up here.
You
Yeah,
were
I was up here.
Yeah, it's the only state we can do that for.
Exactly.
I always felt it was pretty cool that we had that going for us. Yeah, lovely.
We always said that trolls lived below the bridge.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had youpers and trolls.
That's right.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Hi, Bobby Kidder.
Hey, Lutz, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hi,
I'm
Bobby.
doing very well. Hey, Tish.
Hey,
Bobby.
We do have
All
a
right.
Wow. Great. Hi.
Wow.
Lots of
Hi.
visitors today.
Hi.
How many come to the
Oh.
meeting usually? How many of you are there usually?
I'm a guest. I'm just here for you.
I would say 30 to 40.
Yeah.
30 to
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Hi there.
beautiful.
Susan,
How are you?
congratulations for joining the school board.
Steve, I was just typing to you to say, can I say something when we start?
Hey, good.
That's great.
Congratulations, Susan.
All right, I'm going to jump in
Yeah.
and do that then. I want to congratulate and thank Susan Fisher-Mackey for
Yes.
stepping up to be part of the Three Rivers School Board, where I served for 7 years. So I
Yeah.
know just what she's stepping up to
Yay.
do. And I really appreciate that. And congratulations, Susan, and thank you so much for serving.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, everyone. Looking forward to it.
Mhm.
That's great.
Perfect. You're a perfect fit.
Mhm. Mhm.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jess.
Important role for sure. Debbie Brownell can convince you of that. Mhm.
It's important to let her know we all have her back.
Yes.
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 And
You'll
I think
need that, Susan.
her background in and understanding of ACEs may be helpful in some of the board meeting discussions that occur. I think we all need to be approaching everything with a trauma-informed
Well,
approach.
he comes through the cameras here. Speakers are usually there.
That doesn't
Okay.
look like Malcolm.
Luz, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. This is a new computer and I don't know if it's working.
It's working fine, John.
Perfect. It's perfect, John. You look great.
All right,
The camera is really good.
Yeah, it makes
I'm
you
gonna
look
call this.
nice.
Good afternoon, everybody. Paid a lot of money.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute everybody and start our meeting. Okay. Okay, so welcome to our February 17th Road Gateway Rotary meeting. And John Schiavone, would you like to start us off with a pledge on your brand new computer that we know works now?
We see your flag, but we can't hear you, John.
Let's see. Somebody want to start us off with a pledge while John gets his computer going?
I'll do it.
Thank you, Don.
Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
Thank you.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And Gina Marie, for our inspirations today, please.
Hi, so I have a quote from the Dalai Lama. He says, "Every day, think as you wake up. Today, I am fortunate to be alive. I have a precious human life. I am not going to waste it. I'm going to use all my energies to develop myself, to expand my heart out to others, to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. I'm going to have kind thoughts towards others. I am not going to get angry or think badly about others. I'm going to benefit others as much as I can."
Thank you. Appreciate that. So our Rotary Minute today, today's Rotary Minute honors the work of today's program speaker and how Rotarians support Indigenous peoples. Paul Harris, the founder of Rotary, said, "One's nativity is not his or her own choosing, but whatever it may be, it is entitled to respect, and all nations have honorable place in the world's family." As I watched the Olympics this week, I learned that Abby Rode was the first Indigenous hockey player on a Women's USA hockey team. Abby is from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, where I grew up, and is the first female to play on the Soo High Blue Devils hockey team. The coach built a female locker room to support Abby and the other female hockey players that have followed her. In these divisive times, it is easy to forget that we all belong to one family. Indigenous people have been underserved and oppressed by their governments across the world. Seen as a threat to their cultural supremacy, governments would try to eradicate these cultures and tradition in the hopes that people would assimilate to their way of life. As Rotary honors our theme of peace and conflict resolution in February, several Rotary districts have formed Indigenous resource committees for further education and learnings for Rotarians. They encourage support relationships between Rotary clubs and these communities. And this is best told by the hummingbird story on how we can create change one drop at a time. And the story is, fire is raging in the forest. All the people and animals who can escape have done so and are watching as flames engulf their homes. A hummingbird is flying to the fire, catching a drop of water in its beak, flying back over the fire, releasing the drop, and then flying back to the river, and so on. Both animals and people ask the hummingbird what it's doing. They explain that such a small amount of water can't possibly extinguish the flames. The hummingbird answers that if all creatures and people could just have one more drop of water, then there will be a torrential rain that could put out the fire, and that torrent would create it one drop at a time. As Rotarians, we can support peace and understanding by creating our own torrent of rain to educate others, one Rotarian at a time. Okay, so visiting Rotarians and guests. Do we have any visiting Rotarians and guests? Tommy, I believe you have a guest that you'd like to introduce.
I do. My son Jason is here from Texas, and you will all remember Najib Ludin, who was our Afghani student scholarship. And he, when everything happened, needed to get out, and he got out on a Texas A&M scholarship in the doctoral studies program for water. And the Rotarians in Texas were blindsided kind of by the speed that all of a sudden he showed up within 2 days of telling me and Chuck, and he was here. And Jason took him and went to the airport and brought him back to his house and kept him there and found a place for him to live. So this is my son, Jason Drake, who's also a major in the Army and a parasitologist, a veterinarian.
Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
Welcome. My other guest is hiding over here.
Okay. Okay. Do we have any other visiting Rotarians or guests to introduce?
Steve, we do have Dr. Mcfadden
Bobby Kidder.
Okay. Okay. So we'll come back to so Bobby Kidder, welcome back, previous member for our club. Welcome, Bobby. And when would you like to introduce your guest, and then go right ahead and do your healthcare minute if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce a special guest today. With us is Dr. Mcfadden. I've actually known her since 2009 because when I was in my first year of my role here, she was the chief of staff at Three Rivers. She's a wonderful person, and now she's working with also County Public Health Department, and she graciously agreed to give the update to us today, and I'm going to turn it right over to you, Dr. Mcfadden.
Thanks. I know, it's like, and when I met Wynn, we were in the middle of the H1N1 pandemic, which thank goodness was a little blip, nothing. but boy, oh boy, a little different here. I'm not sure what, so I'll talk a little bit, and then there's so much to talk about, but I'll try to keep it really brief. Locally, as you know, our daily case rates and daily case numbers are plummeting. We're down 30%, but we're still well higher than the peak of the Delta wave. So it's still plenty of virus out there. And we should, as much as it's painful to keep wearing masks, please keep wearing your masks. Hospital is still at capacity, but it's really keeping its head above water. And part of the reason we've had decreased death rates is because the hospital is doing a great job keeping people alive, much better than they were a year ago. We know more, and we're able to quickly apply what's learned locally. So they've still amazing care at our local hospitals. I do have some concerns about long haul stress on the staff and what they've been through. It's going to be really hard transitioning people back to reality. As the projections currently are, the hospital's load will be back down to what it was in June a year ago, like very low and twiddling your thumbs, which will be amazing. We have to really enjoy it. Locally, as far as treatments available, we actually, a month ago, we did not have any treatments. Regeneron, remember, didn't work for Omicron. So we had no treatments. Now we do have a couple of very good monoclonal treatments available. They're very awkward though. Some are IV, some have to have review very long med lists, very complicated interactions. And so the treatments are available. Please let people know if they've got high risk factors and they've got COVID, to please call their primary care and try to get arrangement for monoclonal treatments. One thing I do want to caveat, if you see the numbers falling really rapidly, take that with a grain of salt. These are numbers that are reported. Remember, most people who have COVID right now are not reporting. So it's a lot higher than it looks. So don't just say, oh, look, the numbers are low and we can just go out. It's most people are not reporting their numbers. Oh, should I screen share or should I just keep talking? I do have a couple of things that are like.
Whatever you want to do, Dr. Meckling.
Let me see if I can, and I've never done this before. So does this work? So breakthrough. Oh, that's not working, is it? Okay, this is the cumulative numbers we're in. Do you see this? Do you see my graph?
No.
Oh, okay, well then I won't do that. Let's not waste time. The whole point is the booster shots are super effective. If you haven't boosted, please do get boosted. Right now we have 61% of our local population is vaccinated. Only about 20% of local children are vaccinated. And let me just talk a little bit about children. One thing I want to bring out is polio. Polio is pretty important to the Rotarians. I remember polio, if you get the virus, only a full 3/4 of people who get polio virus have 0 symptoms. And of the people who do have symptoms, they're various. Only about 1% of people who get polio virus get poliomyelitis and paralysis. So it's still a horrible disease. We have no problem vaccinating the world to try to prevent that 1% of kids from getting polio. It's almost the same for COVID. Nationally, there have been 12.3 million positives reported in children, 3 million just in the last month. Of those, the numbers are still out there, 0.1 to 1.5% end up being hospitalized. And of those, it's a super low risk of death. But nationally, an average of 3 children a day are dying in the United States from a vaccine preventable disease. That's the whole part that grinds me. We only have a 1/5 of our local kids are vaccinated. And the diseases can be quite extreme. And death is kind of a bad floor. We really should be worried. We don't know what the 5-year plan is for these kids. When I just got finished with, I'm a little disorganized. I just got out of a talk with some neonatologists here at Rogue Valley, just saying how the mothers who get COVID during pregnancy have a 60% more likely to have a preterm delivery. Most of the placentas of those pregnancies come out abnormal. The placenta shows severe hypoxic injury, so that the children aren't getting COVID virus. They're just getting starved because the placentas are not working. Nobody really cares about placentas. Once you're done with it, you're done with it. But it's a very, very important part of your life for first 9 months. That women who are vaccinated during pregnancy, their antibody titers are like, I wrote it down somewhere, 60 times stronger than people who get infected. So vaccine is so much better than getting infected for protecting the babies and protecting the neonates in their first several important months of life. They can't, and then unfortunately we can't vaccinate the little neonates now until late April. I think it's because Pfizer took they're so much more worried about safety than efficacy. So it turns out their vaccine is super safe, but it just wasn't effective enough. That's why they had to go back and reassess it. Looks like it's almost too safe. Of the kids who die or who were severely affected by COVID, 1/3 of them have absolutely no underlying conditions. So we're trying to increase vaccines for children, trying to bear with the masks and bear with the stress that is caused by this. And there actually might we might have a good spring. We might be a lot lower by then. Any specific questions for anybody? There's tons of misinformation out there. Do I have a sec to tell my stupid chainsaw story?
You bet.
Okay. So when I turned 60, I decided I needed to use a chainsaw because I live in the woods. And I did all the Google searches of how to do this, and I read all about how to do, you know, and how to tighten the chain and how to do the loop, and then I actually went and did it, and oh dear, I took down a 3-inch tree, and it looks like a beaver had a seizure attack on it. It's so embarrassing. So there's some things, you know, should be left to professionals. And when I brought that up because I had a local BLM fire. She runs the big fires. She does the major fire things. And she said she'd done her research, so she wasn't going to get the vaccine. And I said, you didn't do research. You did a Google search. And a Google search is like me running a chainsaw. If I Google searched how to run major fires, you wouldn't hire me. Because experience does count. And that's why most of the doctors, 97% of doctors are vaccinated, because we've done the research. I've been doing virology and fighting infections for 30-something years now. And I know that I'm not an expert. I'm the best doctor in Selma, which means nothing. But so really to trust the experts and stay healthy.
Browser preventing access.
Okay, looks like Margaret Bradford has a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to know about getting a second booster. Is that being talked about, advised? What do you think?
Oh boy, it's being made up as we go. But yes, for people who are immune compromised or at high risk jobs, the 4th shot or the second booster shot looks like it probably will help, but there are some specific guidelines about immune compromised or working with high risk things. And it's usually 3 months after the last one. I think a lot of things were kind of, edges were cut during this Omicron wave because it's such a huge wave. My guess is it's all going to relax again after this wave is done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Meckling,
Thanks,
for
Steve.
what you do and all your presentation and what you do to keep our community safe and healthy. Thank you.
It's great. Thanks.
Okay. Valerie, the Grants Pass
Yes.
City Council update.
Yes, we did have a city council meeting last night, and we did the first reading of an ordinance that for landscaping, which has been around, we've been working on it now for 6 years, I think, but we're finally getting some things done. And it does a couple of things. The first thing it does is it helps the trees that are growing in parking lots. We've noticed a lot of our big box stores and things that if you plant trees in the planters, you know, they survive for about 2 years and then they die. So we're making, you know, minor changes to increase the space they have, irrigation, and also, yeah. So anyway, to improve that and the soil structure to help them survive. And then another big thing is that when you do build moving forward, they've always just had a traditional landscape choice of lawn. But right now they're opening up 4 different choices for people in their lawn and putting in their landscaping. It's going from just the traditional, which is mostly grass and trees, to having 4 categories. One is a fire safe, which currently, if you live in the wildfire interface, which is on the northwest part of town and above the freeway on the northeast and some part of south, you have to put in fire safe landscaping. But now they're making that an option for anybody, as well as another choice is a low water. So you can lower your water bill if you choose to put in something that requires less water. Then they have a native plant pollinator and wildlife habitat sort of landscaping. And then of course the traditional. So just putting more options out there for people. So that was passed for the first reading last night, and then they'll have the second reading the first week in March. Then we also talked about a fireworks ban during red flag warnings. The fire department, which is a combination of U.S. Forest Service and the city of Grants Pass and rural, are putting together a commission to look more into what's the best way to keep us safe in the summertime, and they'll come up with more information, but they are putting together a commission to look into the best means by which to make us all safe during the 4th of July or afterwards. Then we created the Caveman Task Force, which will meet. There's 9 members, and they'll meet over the next 6 months and take a look at options for Caveman Plaza. So that's exciting. And then in the future, we'll be looking at end of February. The next February 28th is our next workshop. We'll be looking at the water treatment plant and what sort of technology to use as we move forward with that, and looking into the urban campground and exactly how we're hoping to put that together so we have something before sometime this summer or into next year. So that's what we're working on. I also worked with the Transportation Commission, OMPOC, which is the Oregon Metropolitan Planning Organization, and currently they are doing a lot of research or looking into the infrastructure money that's coming down. $4.5 billion is coming down to Oregon through the federal government for transportation needs, which is a 38% increase in the next 6 years per year. And it also is a $200 million increase for transit. So there's going to be a lot of money coming down the pike. They are looking for public input. If you go to ODOT site, you can look at get involved, and there's information that gives you all of the choices that they're looking at. They're hoping this month to get public input. Oregon Transportation Commission will be making their decision in the next month or two. So they're hoping to get ready for RFPs to come out in April. So if you have any interest in transportation and what you think our community here in Southern Oregon needs, I encourage you to go to the ODOT or the OTC, which is Oregon Transportation Commission website, and let them hear the voices of Southern Oregon. So there you go. Any questions? Don't see it.
Okay.
Back to you, Steve.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that update. Also in the e-Navigator last week, Wynn had a video that has some great ideas on mental wellness, what things we could do individually. And so if anybody did that exercise, as far as feel free to put any comments in the chat as far as if you reached out to somebody that maybe did something great for you, or as a mentor in your life. Be interested to see if there's any comments as a result of that. Lisa Looney for the Student Above Self Award. Would you like to make the presentation discussion of that, please?
Yes, thank you, Steve. Today it is my pleasure to introduce our February Student Service Above Self winner from North Valley High School, Sam Garcia Campos. And I see that he's on Mr. Latham's video, so I think I'll turn it over to you for the particulars.
All right, thank you. And we really appreciate the Rotary Club and this opportunity to recognize our students, and in particular, Sam. I'm actually going to let Adele with Project Youth Plus, she's going to introduce Sam, and then Sam will tell you a little bit about himself and some of the service that he's done as he's one of our great students here at North Valley. But again, thank you for having us, and thank you for recognizing our student here. There's Adele.
Hi, this is Sam. He has been at North Valley now for 4 years. He's very involved in the football team and the leadership all 4 years that he's been here. He's also been really involved in our organization as well. And we actually just got him a paid internship. So he will be working for us fairly soon. And then I think leave the rest up to you, sir.
All right. I really appreciate the honor of this award. And I'm currently writing the Rotary Scholarship application. I'm talking about the 4-way test, which I think is a really good way of looking at things. And in that essay, I'm talking about how I'm going to use it going forward. And I want to major in psychology at the University of Oregon to be a school counselor, because I just want to help people. And I think using that test, it does a it's a great way of doing so. And to be a school counselor, I want to be able to help people and kids. I love working with kids. And a lot of the time, the kids that need the counseling, they can't afford it. But as a school counselor, I'll be able to help anyone who needs it. That's my dream, be able to help anyone.
Okay, congratulations, Sam. What a great dream to have, and it's such a needed item in today's society. Does anybody have any questions for Sam? Did a great presentation there. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we'll look forward to hearing more from you as your future unfolds. And
yes, that sounds great. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, appreciate that. Okay, an update on our Super Bowl pool. Greg.
Thank you, Steve. The Super Bowl has been played, and the winner is the Rotary Foundation. Our generous members donated more than $2,500 to the foundation, and that will, of course, increase our district grant fund in 3 years after those funds, those donations to the annual fund are held to earn returns on investments. And they will be used for grants, which we usually win at least one of. We also, one of the purposes of the pool is to add members into our E-Ray status, every Rotarian every year. We added 28 new members for E-Ray. We have 21 left to be a full E-Ray club. We also added 4 Rotary Direct members and now have a total of 21 members in Rotary Direct, which is the recurring giving program. And we hosted about 15 members and friends for our first ever Super Bowl virtual watch party. I think I can quote Margaret as saying it was the best virtual Super Bowl watch party she's ever been to. We have 36 door prizes that were awarded, were won. And those are from among the many door prizes that our generous members donated to Patty Toronto, who's organizing them all. She's gonna bring many of them to Row Motors, and we'll stage handoffs very soon. I'm in the midst right now of sending the letter to the, or the email, the P-mail to the folks who won prizes but were not at the virtual meeting. Those who were present got to choose their prizes right then. The others will have a little round robin email to do that. And our grand prize winner from Spain, right now, Leonora is in Spain, and she already replied that she was thrilled to have won the Paul Harris Fellow Award, which will go to her. And in addition, some of our generous members also have committed to donating Paul Harris Fellow Award recognition points. And because of our participants' purchases of squares by donating to the Rotary Foundation, we have 2,350 more recognition points to add to people's progress toward that award. So thanks everybody for your participation.
Well, thank you, Greg. Appreciate everything you did to make that successful. I know it took a lot of effort, and like you said, the Rotary Foundation really won out big in that one. Thank you for that. Jody McDonald, shoes that fit, please.
Yes, well, so we're getting close to the deadline for Shoes That Fit for donations. I do want to thank those of you that have reached out and are going to go ahead and support the program. I did hear back from the Illinois Valley Club. They are going to be able, on such short notice, they're going to be able to donate $270 to the $1,000 that we've got available already through our grant and through our club donations. So that will be a really good deal. Plus what I've heard from others that are donating, I think at this point we're up to 53 pair of shoes, which is fabulous. Each pair of shoes is $30. And so if you are able to go ahead and donate anything, please get that in. We have to have it by March 1st. It can take up to 2 months for us to be able to go through the process. Once the school gets, you know, the information, they start measuring the kids' feet, then they have to get it back to the coordinator. The coordinator then orders the shoes. And of course, with shipping being the way it is right now, that's the concern. It's taking a little longer for it to get around. So we want to try to get the shoes to the kids before school is out. So if we start and maybe basically able to get it started by March 1st, hopefully we will be able to get the shoes to the kids by right around the first part of May. So they'll have shoes while they're in school for a little bit, and then through the summer to be able to wear some that are not hurting their feet. So anyway, please, if you have the opportunity and you're interested, please make sure you get your donation in, because I have to use those numbers that Laurel or Jan will have by March 1st for knowing how many shoes that we will be able to provide.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Bonnie is not able to make our meeting today, but the deadline is tomorrow for the men's clothing drive. You'll see that listed in the Navigator as far as to help individuals in Wolf Creek men's clothing. So if you have any extra clothing in your closet that for men that are not, you don't have a use for, that is, you know, wearable and useful to people, men going forward, please bring them down to the dealership here at Row Motors by tomorrow night, and Bonnie will come by and pick those up. Definitely, that's tomorrow night. Dawn, the Vocational Service Award nomination.
Okay.
Not happening here.
Vocational Service Award will be given to the award recipient on March the 17th. And next week is the deadline for submissions. So far, we have a couple of submissions, but I'd like to encourage all of you to think about a particular person who might be deserving of this award. Just to remind you, the person you select cannot be a Rotarian, must live or work in Josephine County, and have achieved some distinction as being an exceptional leader, creative, going sort of above and beyond, but really an example of excellence in their profession. And of course, have high ethical standards and be meeting, in our way of looking at it, the 4-way test. The form for submitting a name is in the eNavigator, our wonderful eNavigator. So you can take the form, nominate someone, and then my email address is also in the eNavigator. Send that to me, and then a committee will look and determine who the winner will be. We'll announce it and get ready for a party. That's it.
Thank you. We are going to have a Rotary board meeting next Wednesday night, and this is going to be a first one in which it's going to be a hybrid version, and it's to give an idea of how that would work. So it's going to meet virtually on Zoom as well as at All Care Health on Wednesday night. More details will be coming out in the agenda of that, but it gives us a chance to see how we are moving forward, how the technology will work, and what we can do to make it successful. And I want to start with a small group rather than a Rotary meeting. So Brenda, would you like to introduce our speaker for today?
There we go. All right. Well, I am just delighted to introduce Tish Mcfadden to everybody. Bobby Kidder is here because she's so excited about the work that Tish has been doing. And I am very excited. I feel like it's a gift that has come into our life. And I'm going to not take any more of her time so that she can tell you a little more about what she has created and a little bit about her background. So take it away, Tish.
Thank you, Brenda, and thank you to the Grants Pass Rotary. I'm so thrilled to be here today and share with you the story that really started in the 1980s when I first came to Oregon from Utah, from Michigan originally, as we mentioned earlier. But it's truly wonderful to share this project that started 6 years ago on March 16th, which is just maybe 2 weeks away from now. So thank you, and let me get started. I'd like to begin with recognizing the land that we are all residing on. We are living within the ancestral homelands of the Shasta, Takelma, and Latgawa peoples who lived here since time immemorial. Today, the confederated tribes of Siletz and Grand Ronde are where the living descendants of these people are now residing. We're encouraged to learn about the land we reside on and advocate for the inherent sovereignty of Indigenous people. And my profession, what brought me here to Oregon, but where I started in Utah, was an anthropology and archaeology degree from the University of Utah, which I earned in 1976. And I had the great honor and pleasure of working with the Ute Indian tribe in northern Utah and protecting cultural resources throughout the state, particularly in the southern Utah areas of the Hopi and the Pueblo people. Incredible years and experiences. And I brought that love of Indigenous culture and worldview with me when I transferred to the Grants Pass office of the Siskiyou National Forest in 1980. And I lived in a little cabin up in the woods above Rogue Community College and rode my bike all the way through town every day to get to work, and then headed off in my Forest Service pickup truck to 5 different ranger districts, Gold Beach and Brookings and Cave Junction and Powers and Grants Pass, where my job was to identify and protect and develop mitigation measures to save the very rare and irreplaceable cultural values of our first people here in Southwest Oregon. So it was quite an incredible position, and that's how I met Tawiwi Agnes Baker Pilgrim. I met her in the 80s. She was still living in Crescent City at the time, and we reconnected in 2016 when she published her book called Grandma Says Wake Up World, and it was published by Blackstone Publishing here in Ashland, Oregon. And basically, Aggie drove herself over from Grants Pass to the studios here and just spoke into a microphone every week for 6 weeks. And she told her stories and she told her histories, and she had so much to say. And the book is literally just a transcription of Aggie speaking from her heart about her view of the world and sharing her universal teachings. So we met at her book signing, and literally the next morning this project was born. It's called Upriver to Morning because Aggie's Takelma name is Tawiwi. She was named for her own grandmother, and Tawiwi means morning star. So in the morning when you look up at the sky, right before the sun rises, you're going to see a bright light up there in the sky, and that is who Grandma Aggie's named for, Morning Star. So the title is Upriver to Morning because the animal characters in this story are traveling up the Rogue River from its mouth at Gold Beach, from the Pacific Ocean, all the way up the 215 miles of the wild Rogue River to its source up at Boundary Springs near Crater Lake. And the characters are animal characters, which is true for fables, which are teaching stories. And when I start the PowerPoint presentation, you'll meet the characters in this story. So I guess I've told you a little bit about my background, archaeology, anthropology. I'm also was raised by a naturalist and an outdoor educator mom. So I have been raised with an ecological and environmental sensibility, and by a father who was a counselor and a musician, which is something I've also done last 34 years. I've run my own music school here in Ashland, the Rum Tum School of Music. And music is definitely a part of this project, Upriver to Morning. So I'm going to go ahead now and share this PowerPoint presentation. And we'll have time for questions at the end. So I hope you jot down any questions that might arise. So here I go. I'm going to share my screen. And I am going to start my slideshow now. I hope you can all see it. Everybody
Yes, we
okay
can.
with the
Thanks.
thumbs up? Okay, good. Well, I want to honor and recognize the artist, the illustrator for this program, or for this project. Her name is um, Laura Winslow. There she is. She's also illustrated another book of mine called Song of the Red Wing. She's lovely. And let me tell you about the power of stories and why I'm so interested in writing stories. Before language was written down and long before communication became digital and instantaneous, people shared their history, skills, experience, and wisdom through stories. This oral tradition, passing from one generation to the next, not only prepared young ones for adulthood, but in essence nurtured the development, diversity, and stability of culture itself. From knowing which native plants could heal you, nourish you, or kill you, to learning how to invite salmon's annual return to the creeks and rivers of the local watershed, from weaving intricate designs with native grasses to make hats and gathering baskets, from looking to the stars for navigation, we as humans benefit from sharing our stories. Upriver to Morning is a journey story, a teaching story, rooted in the timeless and enduring teachings for all people. And I want to mention the all people with Grandma Agnes. She was teaching all people. She truly believed, as I do, that there was more that connects us. There is more that connects us than divides us. So here she is at that book signing in Bloomsbury Books, signing a copy of my book, March 7, 2016. Grandma Aggie's known throughout all of Oregon and the United States, and actually globally is a member of the International Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers. She was a founding member. She traveled the world blessing water. Sorry? All righty. Here's a quote from Grandma Aggie. Every day you need time to romp and play, tickle the funny bone, love to laugh. It's the best medicine. You know your immune system goes down if you don't put a little sunshine in it. So we learned a lot about laughter and joy. And I want to mention that Grandma Aggie was also close friends with the Dalai Lama. And he also, I'm reading the book right now, the conversations between the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. The Book of Joy is the name. Well, we had some wonderful visits over the last 4 years prior to her passing in 2019. This is along the Rogue River at the Southern Oregon Land Conservancy Preserve. And you see there Pete Bedell, who's cinematographer from Pilot Rock Productions. And we had lots to share, and these films are now just being completed. They're short films, 15 to 20 minutes of our conversations about many things along the river. And I'm so thrilled to have this footage, especially now, as you can imagine. And there we are having a chat. And there is her daughter Nadine on the left, and Shay, Nadine's son, Julie Norman, who's a very important part of my team. And with the Beatles shirt on, Thomas Doty's daughter, Arena Doty, my webmaster. Many of you may know that Agnes Pilgrim was a professional musician, and she actually traveled the country playing music at one stage of her life. So I brought my instrument along, of course, and put it in her hands. And my golly, she just sat there and strummed and started to sing. I'm not sure when she last had held a stringed instrument. It was very special. Here's a few, I won't go and read everybody's details here, but I want you just to see the number of people who have contributed their art, their editing, their skills on so many levels. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you see
Welcome back.
I'm sorry, my power went out. Can you still see my screen or no?
Nope, you need to reshare your screen, please.
Okay, thank you for telling me. I will do that right now.
Got it.
Great recovery.
Oh, thank goodness. I am so sorry. Let me play here from the current slide. Goodness, that was a surprise. Anyway, did you hear me speaking a little bit about the team? I don't want to repeat myself, but this is my team, and then Jesse Jackson about the Tacoma Cultural Center that he's developing up by Glide, Oregon. I'm working closely with him in that project, and yeah, we have some very exciting things coming up around creating a Tacoma Cultural Center there. Yeah, Bridget McMillan, she's principal of the Glendale School, and she worked under Jesse's when he was the principal there. She's very interested in bringing the program to her school. Now, back to the journey of the members of the traveling team within the Upriver to Morning. Here just shows you a map from Gold Beach where the journey begins. Look at this beautiful river running right through your town. And I lived off of New Hope Road in Grants Pass, and I loved being on that river. Table Rocks, I'm sure many of us have been on top of the Table Rocks, of course up to Crater Lake and Boundary Springs. This is the route of the journey in Upriver to Morning. I'd like to introduce you to the characters. So as is true in fables, the characters are, they really possess a lot of the qualities of human beings, and they show both our strengths, our weaknesses, our joys, and our sorrows. So I chose characters that were part of Tacoma mythology, part of their ecosystem, and I'll introduce them to you. With Salmon, we experience a river that pushes against us. Remember, he's swimming up the Rogue River, upriver, day and night in the opposite direction of our swim. Through Salmon, we learn about perseverance and strength, when to accept help, the importance of giving back, setting goals, and how to express gratitude. Now, these are all part of Grandma Agnes's teaching that I've summarized in this story. So we all know what it's like to feel like we're pushing in the opposite direction or having something push against us, but we persevere. With Coyote, he's an altogether different character, and with him we strut and boast and dramatize stories. Throughout our journey, though, Coyote's dogged devotion to Salmon and his friends is absolute. With Coyote, we laugh, we're entertained, we discover the meaning of loyalty, and he keeps us chuckling with his unpredictable humor. And we laugh at his exaggerated charm and all too familiar foibles. With Eel, we know that life's a beautiful thing if we can put music to it, another one of Grandma Aggie's teachings. With music, we celebrate events, increase energy and focus, unify with our surroundings, and bring good to the world. Eel shares her music as her most precious gift. Red-tailed hawk. The world of red-tailed hawk is the sky. We fly alongside her. She's the selfless winged watcher who oversees the passage of her travelers below. As guardian, she keeps her travelers informed of what lies ahead. She demonstrates qualities of responsibility, caregiving, foresight, protection, and communication. Consistent with Dear Woman, community and homeland are important to us. We retreat with her into the mountains when life in the valley feels out of balance. We seek protection among the old ones, the rock people and tree people. We offer kindness and assistance, patience and comfort at every opportunity. Riverhawk, who is an osprey, saves the life of Salmon when it's the right thing to do. We learn with Riverhawk that selfless acts of kindness can involve personal sacrifice in order to better the greater whole. So in the story, Riverhawk had the opportunity to have salmon for dinner. You know that osprey feed off of salmon and other fish in the river, but he opted not to. And you'll read the book one day and find out why. With Jackrabbit, we're in tune with the surface of the world, its dirt, its foliage, its flowering meadows, wildfire scars, burrows, and boulders. We get around with ease. Our ears are quick to sense sound and life and weather stirring around us. We learn that we possess the ability to inspire others to do the right thing, such as becoming a friend, something which will nourish us much longer than a single meal. Let me just check my time here. I want to be honoring of your time. With the Dahldah Brothers. Now, the Dahldah Brothers are part of Takelma mythology, and it's two dragonfly brothers, and they are opposites. And so it's like day and night, hungry and full, fire and ash. And they basically, due to their polar opposite views, keep balance in the world. With Bear, we dream, which invites long naps, but we also understand the importance of dreaming. We know our dreams have much to teach us. With Bear, we live in the real world and the dream world equally, because Bear is both a land animal and a sky animal. By land, we love to eat ripe huckleberries, and in the celestial world, we're responsible for circling the seasons around the North Star. So you know the Big Dipper is called Ursa Major. That stands for Big Bear. So the very first sentence of this story, Rogue River's winding journey begins many swims away. She flows from her birthplace high in the mountains at Boundary Springs, over 200 miles to the Pacific Ocean. Along her way, River splashes over rocks and waterfalls, deep gorges, and rolls along wide green valleys. She dances downhill, never sleeping, not even once, until her fresh water falls into the welcoming arms of the great salt sea. This is another part of the book where there's quite a lot going on the Table Rocks. I'm going to let this one just you wait till you read it and you will see. So here is the final illustration of the book. It's the actual entire story, a 5-chapter teaching story told in Takelma rock writing symbols on the rock. The story from beginning to end is mapped on the rocks in traditional Takelma rock writing symbols with salmon, coyote, deer woman, bear, red-tailed hawk, the Dahldah Brothers, eel, jackrabbit, and many more. Upriver to Morning addresses the strength of community, resilience and diversity, setting goals, overcoming challenges, acquiring knowledge, expressing gratitude, returning the favor, and celebrating success. These are universal life lessons for all people, as shared by Tawaiwi Agnes Baker Pilgrim. Here we are at her birthday party in 2018. Here we are at Indigenous Peoples Day 2019. Here she is at the Southern Oregon University Powwow in 2019. And here she is at a wonderful Southern Oregon University event where she was receiving a very prestigious medal. I think it's called the President's Medal from the university, from Southern Oregon University. Quickly, the components of the Upriver to Morning project. You can see here book illustrations, book translations. This project, by the way, is bilingual, English and Spanish. 5 original songs, the story theater script with stage direction, film shoots with Agnes Pilgrim and myself, lesson plans for grades 3 through 8, meeting Oregon and national standards, teacher guides, an educational website, and a great, great journey. I dedicate this project to Agnes Pilgrim and Thomas Doty, my friends and collaborators. Here we are celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. And As many of you may know, Thomas Doty has also passed, but we had many, many great fun programs together between 2018 and 2020. Here's almost a last photo now of the celebration of life for Tawaiwi in Grants Pass at the fairgrounds. I'm singing a song from the Upriver to Morning collection with dear Alice DiMaselli, who was also a very close friend to Aggie's. So Grandma Aggie just had this lovely testimonial to say about the project. She believed in it and supported it from the get-go, was her words. And I'm very fortunate to have the continuing support of her family. This would not be possible without that. I guess this really sums up her view. In order to carry on my words or my work, we must encourage the young people to get involved if we're going to make a difference. Whether it be taking care of Mother Earth or whether it's carrying on words of wisdom, we need to enlighten our young people so that they too can carry these messages to homes, to their families and those generations yet to come. Upriver to Morning not only enhances educational content for our children and future generations by teaching about Indigenous culture, it also serves as an environmental model for living sustainably to preserve the delicate balance and fragile ecosystems of our planet today and years to come. So I just want to thank everybody who's been involved with this project with me and those who I've met recently who are showing such great support and appreciation. I want to thank the Multicultural Association of Southern Oregon, my fiscal sponsor. I've been on the board of the Multicultural Association now for 3 years. I'm also on the cultural committee of the Applegate Partnership and Watershed Council. We're working on a memorial for Agnes Pilgrim at Cantrell Buckley Park. There's so many wonderful projects going on simultaneously right now. It's incredibly exciting, and I'll have more to tell you, maybe as a follow-up article in your newsletter. Just showing you the cover and back cover of Upriver to Morning. And I will close with this last slide. We can join together no matter what our religious or spiritual beliefs are to save our Earth Mother and salvage our own existence. Since we're all in this leaky canoe together, we need to be a united force that keeps on keeping on. And that is that. If you'd like, I could take you to where you could see this on the website. Do I have maybe 1 minute to share that?
You bet.
Okay,
Sure.
this will just take a second. Okay. I'm going to just share, just so that you can have the opportunity to find this at home. uprivertomorning.com. This website has been, I've provided the content, but it was designed and created by Thomas Doty's daughter, Irina Doty. And if you go to presentations here, this is the homepage, presentations, you will be able to review this PowerPoint presentation at your leisure. So here's the presentations page. Here I am doing a presentation at Willowit Ranch. Here's in a elementary school, more of the flyers from past performances, reviews, and then we get down to here, and you can see it right here. I believe you can also download it as a PDF like this. If you don't have PowerPoint presentation app, you can just download it as a PDF. Okay, I just wanted you to be able to find that easily. I'll go ahead and stop the share. And if there's time for a question or two, it looks like I have 1 minute. Does anyone
Sure.
have any questions?
You timed it well. No. Any questions for Tish?
I was lucky.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Love the illustrations and the book and all that you're trying to accomplish here.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I thank you all for listening and your interest.
Okay.
Any
Thank you
questions?
so much again.
Okay.
Oh, looks like there is a question. Brenda has a comment or a question. Brenda Patton.
Probably need to unmute Brenda.
Yep, Brenda, unmute.
Here you go. I don't talk that loud. Okay, one of the things that I want to bring up, because we want to ripple out this work, is Tish is looking for a very particular kind of publisher. And I think if we throw this out to Rotarians, we're much more likely to hit on somebody that might know something. So if anybody has any ideas, Tish can probably, you can get in touch with her and she can tell you what it is she needs. It's not just the book or the, it's also the lessons. So, and she'd like to have the whole thing published in one house. So I told her, let's throw it out there and let the magic work. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Brenda. I just put my email address, rumtom@mind.net, on the chat.
Great, great.
I'd love to hear any of your ideas and suggestions. Thank you so much, Brenda. I appreciate
All right.
it. All righty. Thank you again. Thank you so
You bet.
much.
Okay. Thank you. And our birthdays and anniversaries this week. Park Kallenberg is February 22nd. Jim Huber is February 23rd. And Holly Lighty is celebrating 2 years anniversary with our club. So Sergeant at Arms, James, please.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Tish, for what a beautiful tribute to the wonderful Grandma Aggie Pilgrim. It was just phenomenal. And hi to everybody. It's good to see you all virtually out there in Road Gateway Rotary Land. And we have some time for to make some money for Road Gateway Rotary with some happy bucks. If anybody has anything to share, I'll try to find you if you raise your virtual hand. Okay, I see Kirk has a happy buck or two.
Yeah. First of all, I want to apologize. I'll give a sad buck because I forgot that I had the pledge last week. So I got I got 10 sad bucks for that. Fortunately, I was out fishing up on a Myrtle Point on the Coquille River, and I did catch a pretty large steelhead. So I got another 10 happy bucks for that.
Thanks very much, Kirk. How about Tommy? Hi, Jason.
Jason wandered off.
Okay.
Anyway, but I have 10 happy bucks because Jason's here and he just did so much for Luden that it's incredible. And I didn't even ask him. I just asked him if he knew what the transportation system from the airport was. He goes, oh, well, I'll go get him. Okay. So yay, Jason. Thank you.
Absolutely, yay, Jason. Thanks, Tommy. Valerie, I see a virtual hand.
So I'm going to give 10 bucks for the wonderful story for today. I mean, I just really, really enjoyed it. It kind of brought me to a special place of inspiration with nature and indigenous and my love for that culture. So I'm going to give $10 for that. And thank you very much, Tish. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tish and Valerie. Thank you. I don't see any more hands. Does anybody else have a happy buck to share?
Grant Walker has his hand up.
Okay. Hi, Grant.
Hi, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm unhappy because I missed out on the pool, but I'm thrilled because Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl, and I love the Rams, but it's really Matt Stafford I was rooting for. So I'll put in 25 happy bucks for that.
Thank you very much. I have a happy buck. I have 5 happy bucks just because it was so nice to see Bobby Kidder today. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Anybody anybody else out there? I see Greg Fishwick with a happy heart face.
That was just for Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, Greg.
Absolutely.
Everybody, it's been wonderful to be with you today. Thank you. And Tish, amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bobby.
I see a hand from Debbie.
Hi, I have 5 happy bucks. I love the presentation. What inspiration. It's just wonderful. It's great to see Kathy Meckling, Bobby, all these great friends of the past on the Zoom call. And I have a happy buck for Mother Nature because I sneaked out a couple of cuttings off of the Daphne plant this week and stuck them in with my Valentine bouquet. And today they're blooming. My whole house smells like Daphne.
Oh, nice.
Wow, fantastic. I wish you could send us that smell virtually.
Yeah.
Debbie. I think that might be everybody. If I'm correct on that, back to you, Steve.
Okay. Well, thank you again. And for us, the thought for the week, I was surfing the internet and saw this quote from Tish, our speaker today. And I thought it was talking about respect. Respect. It's a great thing to have respect for yourself. If you have respect for yourself, then you have complete control over your behavior and you're doing well with it. Learn to stop bias and prejudice. Stop being judgmental about yourself and your neighbors. Tish Mcfadden. I thought that was a great quote to end the meeting with, and just for her marvelous presentation today. And I'm going to put in 25 happy bucks also for just the presentation today and all that it represented. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with nothing else, looks like we are going to adjourn the meeting. So okay. We will now have our virtual meeting after the meeting. Fellowship time. Who wants to stay on? Otherwise, have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, Steve.
Hi, Kate Dwyer.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Really good. Really good. We just had some bunch of good committee meetings. Things are moving forward. It was nice to see the pictures from Maggie's birthday because I made her birthday cake for years and years. So that was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
How you doing?
Gina Marie, I'm going to have a remedial class on Rotary Direct with you. I'm not sure where my money went. It's gone again.
It's poofed.
I don't know where it went.
Well, and it's funny because I have tried signing up for Rotary Direct for years now, and it never sticks for some reason. It doesn't like, the Rotary Foundation doesn't like my debit card, which is the only thing that I have to use, and so it takes the first donation and then it just cuts off.
So if the two of us try to do it, we might blow up Rotary Direct.
I'm gonna have to call them again. I've had so many conversations with them, and they're very lovely and do everything they can to help. And I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
How was Mexico, Miss Donnie?
It was great. It was wonderful. Relaxing.
Good.
That's such a quiet, sweet little town.
Mm-hmm.
You're all tan.
Pardon?
I say Dawn is all tan.
You're sun-kissed. We have a sun-kissed Dawn.
Right. Maybe a couple too many margaritas, but other than that.
What happens in the south of the border stays south
of the border. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the unfortunate thing is the getting there and the coming back, you know. It does make you wonder what travel will be like for all of us in years to come, you know.
Yeah.
I can imagine security, health security is going to continue.
What was the biggest hassle about traveling for you, Dawn?
Pardon?
What was the biggest hassle?
Well, one of the things that is interesting, and that has a lot to do with the demand, is that you can only get there by spending the night somewhere if you want to. So there's that piece. But just the difference in going down to Mexico, there were no regulations, but coming back, we had to have a COVID test within a day of our return. Those sorts of things, because it's always in flux. So to find where
And
you
there-
do that, and
yeah.
yes, it was a bit that part. Just lots of regulations now that may stay, I suppose, and we'll get used to it. We want people to be safe. They also did those, Steve. Every airport has a different thing. So I have to say that TSA, they took my cosmetic scissors. It's like, that's a dangerous thing.
Wow.
Yeah, the tiny, teeny little.
Right. And the other thing is that I always keep a little kit to repair any glasses that malfunction, They took the tiny screwdriver. That was in that.
Wow.
Because that'll do some damage.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like, oh, okay, well, what are you
They
gonna
must
do?
have torn everything apart for you.
Hopefully you
Right.
didn't have any sharpened number 10 pencils.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure if I had, that would have been gone too. And as they're looking through that, it's just very like, Oh, and they took Steve's shaving cream of all things that was packed in our regular luggage. It didn't go through, but she opened up the luggage before we checked it in, right? And pulled out the shaving cream can and had like several conversations. I guess like perhaps it was a bomb. I don't know. Anyway, we said, just take it. Just put it.
We'll get more shaving cream.
We'll get. Hey, but an interesting thing is then in Los Angeles on our way back, spending the night, there were all of these dogs that are bomb sniffing dogs that had been there for the Super Bowl. And so a number of them were at that hotel, and that was pretty interesting. I mean, just all of these well-behaved dogs, but then the sad part of that, because our friend Jennifer Androy for years had worked as a TSA person and had toured their facility where they teach those dogs. And the sad thing is, because they're exposed to all of these bomb chemicals, they get cancer.
Oh,
really?
Wow. Yeah. So that was
sad.
That was very, very sad. So there was one dog that had a tumor removed, and it was just like, oh, that's not good. But there were lots of them. They seemed happy. And apparently they choose dogs that aren't scary. I mean, there were German pointers and beagles, and that's so as not to alarm the general public.
Well, that's nice.
So there's your story for the day.
Yeah.
So are we feeling good? I was thinking about the speech contest, and that our award winner today will be one of the contestants, it sounds like. That's cool.
Yeah.
Other Rotaries know of it, so their schools should
Kind
be
of coming together.
Yeah.
right.
Gina Marie, any update on pets for you?
I finally got my registration this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. It has been a very, very interesting back and forth. Like, I was getting no information at all about pets. I got an initial email in November before they had made any decisions about how they were going to do it. They sent out a poll to ask, if we have this in person, would you come? And so I replied that I didn't think I would feel comfortable yet in person. And then in the beginning of December, they sent out the email saying, hey, we're going to do it in person, and here's the registration link. But because I knew I wasn't going to go in person, I didn't register then. So I deleted the email. And then I got an email at the beginning of January from Jim Lucier from our district, who is one of the training leaders for pets, who had sent a workbook out, said, here's your workbook for pets. We'll be starting the pre-pets webinars early January. So look for the login from your registration link. And I was like, wait a second, I didn't have any of that. So I started, reaching back out to our district to say, hey, I didn't get this registration. Can you send it back? And it just, I got lost someplace in the ether, I guess, because when I finally got the email today, after so many back and forths, I got the email today from the registrar, and he said, I've tried sending this to you 3 times. Like, I don't know what's happening. You know, so it wasn't in my spam mail. It wasn't, but I got it today. So I'm
And will it
registered.
be in person or hybrid? How's
No,
it gonna
they
work?
decided to cancel the in-person. I'm very grateful for.
Right,
So
right.
they had, there's like a whole library of online videos that they released in December, I guess, and were kind of like, take at your own leisure. Then in January, they had 3 or 4 webinars that you were supposed to log on to and attend via Zoom, which I obviously missed all of those, but thankfully they recorded them so I can watch those back. And then the pets will actually start tomorrow. I think there's going to be a keynote tomorrow evening, and then Saturday there'll be a few keynotes and 2 or 3 classes, and then Sunday 1 keynote and 1 class. So gotta squeeze them into my schedule now.
I was gonna say, so now you're cramming.
Yeah, I am on top of school. I was planning on writing a paper this weekend, so probably won't get around to that, but yeah, it'll all be good.
That's a little bit different than how I did it last year.
Yeah.
And I think yours sounds a little bit more organized, even though you didn't get registered.
Right.
Steve, in what way? What was the difference? That when they
we didn't have a pets session, so we had some events like talks that you listen to, and that was really it.
Yeah, I think because last year I think it was sort of like a last minute deal that they like didn't know they were gonna not be able to have in person, and they had to sort of scramble to try to figure out how are we gonna do pets, which has never been done virtually. How are we gonna suddenly transfer this thing that is, like they have a very strong program, well-established program for in-person, but how do we translate that into virtual? So I think the first year was probably a little tricky.
Do you know what the benefit for each of you? I mean, you had to do this virtually, or you're going to have to do it virtually, but you have each of you done it in person.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that's
a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeannie Marie, I think Rotary Direct has gremlins in it. It's running interference with anything in the Rotary world.
I know. It's messed me up somehow. Yeah.
You wonder
well,
if you
good
got,
for you.
Gina Marie, if you got a Gmail account or something like Gmail email address.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with the pets registration. The Rotary Direct is not my email. The email isn't the problem. It's the card. And it was funny because every time I've called TRF, they've said that it was an issue with my bank, that the bank wasn't sending the money through. So then I called the bank to find out what's going on. And they said, no, we released this payment. Like it didn't go through. So I think it's on the Rotary Foundation side, because I've not had any issue with any other recurring donation I've made online. And yeah, it just like like I said, I've probably signed up 5 times. Every time I sign up, it looks like everything is good. I get my first, thank you email. And then suddenly, 6 months later, I realized, gosh, I haven't seen my money coming